Right then, folks, let's get into it. I've been promising this. It's time to dig in. I'm going to get right in. Don't want to delay it any further. I think this is the shot that I think this is the perfect shot for this because I am going to zoom in and stuff, right? So let's do it. Let's begin on the left side, though, they are meant to be mirrored. Let's see, right? So let's go right at the top. I think that's good enough. That gives me a clear look at this section. Okay, up top, Henrique Tannhaus, then Gustav Tannhaus, Leopold Tannhaus, H.G. Tannhaus, the homie. Right then. So, yeah, I guess those are the two I've seen, right? Gustav and Henrique. And then perhaps this is the one that's the generation that I haven't seen, right? And then comes H.G. Tannhaus. Right. Or could it be Gustav and Leopold? No. That can't be it at all. That's old. So this is old Tannhaus, right? And then this is his father. I've seen him in one of the cold opens. He was the one who wanted to bring back Charlotte, his wife. So, okay, that's pretty clear cut. Henrique, Gustav, Leopold, H.G. Tannhaus. Now then, look at this, H.G. So I'm guessing Henrique, Gustav, right? I mean, yeah, it's simple enough. It's right there. Henrique, Gustav, Tannhaus. Good. Right then, let's move along. So you've got Charlotte Doppler, who is connected to Peter Doppler, of course, her husband. That connects to Ellie Doppler. I mean, and then, of course, Hanno Tauber. Of course, I'm not going to get into anything that's already kind of airtight. The whole Elizabeth Doppler and Charlotte Doppler relation, right? So yeah, so far so good. It all checks out. Now let's go to and then of course from Charlotte and Peter you also have Franziska Doppler, who is the sibling of Elizabeth, who is attached to Hanno Tauber, who is attached to Charlotte Doppler. Peter Doppler, let's see, Dila? Let's go bit in Ulla. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, Ulla Schmidt. And Helge Doppler, look at that. I mean, he did speak of, a young Peter Doppler did speak of his mom passing on and telling him that his father is Helge, or he lives here, right? So he comes to town looking for him. So confirmation, indeed, he fathered Peter Doppler. Huh. Let's go a bit further back. Right, that was a big talking point, right? In season 1, Helge's actual father. So there's confirmation there. Greta Doppler and Anatol. I just butchered that, I'm sure, but yeah. Again, that was it wasn't clear cut, but yeah, it was kind of really indicating that indeed, Helge's real father isn't Bernd Doppler, who's up top here. Yeah, so far so good. Nothing crazy. It's all checking out. Oh, right, Magnus Nielsen. Actually, no. Let's keep doing this. Helge Doppler. Okay, let's just keep going to this point. All right, so you have Sebastian Kruger, Hannah. So that's her father. I've seen him a few times in season 1. And then you also have Jonas. Yeah, I'm looking at this line. I'm trying to ignore that for now because I kind of want to shift through sections. Let's continue here. So Jonas, of course, Hannah, and then from Jonas, you go to Mikkel, Jonas's father, right? Who is also attached to Hannah, of course, his parents. And then, of course, from Mikkel, you get His siblings, Marta Nielsen, Magnus Nielsen, all three are attached to Katarina and Ulrich Nielsen, right? And also you have Ines attached to Mikkel. And of course, Daniel, I've seen him. He's the head honcho or Egon Tiedemann's superior in the 50s. And then, of course, attached to Ulrich is Mads Nielsen. Checks out Katarina Nielsen, Herman Albers, Helena Albers. Checks out. So Ulrich Nielsen, Mads Nielsen, Jana Nielsen, and Trante Nielsen. And of course, Trante's mother is Agnes Nielsen, and father is the origin, the unknown. Okay, let me kind of focus on the unknown, the origin. Now, this whole concept of him having Trante Nielsen with an Agnes on this side and that side, I don't know. To me, that still feels like a bridge too far, I'm not entirely able to accept that notion. How exactly are you supposed to father the exact same child? I mean, what are the chances of that, right? 2 Trante Nielsens, exact same, on each side. Now, that being said, I haven't seen Trante Nielsen in Ava's world, right? Pretty sure, right? I haven't seen Jana Nielsen, though of course Jana Nielsen is there because everything is mirrored. So even if it isn't shown on screen, you have to kind of assume that it is the same Trante Nielsen. He looks the same, right? But yeah, that aspect of it, I don't know, man. The chances of that are so exceedingly unlikely that he fathered the exact same child on both ends. I don't know. As I mentioned in one of my discussions, in the past discussions, I'm not really quite entirely convinced that this is the big reveal of all of this. That the origin, the unknown is like the origin of all of this, right? I don't know, man. There's still 3 episodes left. I feel like there's still quite a bit that can shock me about this show, about this story. I certainly hope so. Now, I'm not saying this is a hoax or anything. It's there. It's a thing that exists. He is this really rare individual that is born of 2 worlds, right? That's set in stone. But of course, he is born from Jonas and Marta, right? So yeah, that I buy that. I accept it because it's given to us, right? That's fact. I'm not disputing that at all. I'm just saying that I'm still not completely sold on this being the big moment, the big reveal. Again, there's still quite a bit left, right? In the grand scheme of things, given how much can happen in each episode, even if there are only 3 episodes left. But yeah, that's my piece on that. Him fathering 2 Trante Nielsens. The chances of that, I don't know, man. Exceedingly unlikely, right? That they're going to turn out to be the exact same kid on both attempts, right? And also, they haven't shown me Agnes on this side, right? Not yet, at least. They've shown me Hano. They've shown me Mads. Again, I'll come to that in a bit. But yeah, let's go to the top now from the bottom. So you've got Trante Nielsen, Agnes Nielsen, her brother Hanna Tauba, aka Noah. Right? Let's do this. This is exciting because I caught this in the last episode. The unknown Tiedemann is the wife, or the partner at least, of Bartosz Tiedemann, right? The mother of Agnes Nielsen, Hanno Tauba. And given the scene that I got a few episodes ago, Agnes and the future girl hugging it out, clearly there's a connection there. It was quite an emotional moment. Yeah, So to me, it really feels like indeed that was her mother. Of course, she's much younger than Agnes, right? That's just the nature of this. But yeah, I believe that is the future girl. I mean, who else can it be, right? There's just no one left. So Silja or Silja Tiedemann, who, this should do it. This should confirm it. Though, of course, before I go any further, yeah, you know, I saw Hana earlier and I saw this connection, yeah, going all the way to the top. I'm pretty sure that's going to be Egon Tiedemann up top and Hana, right? But yeah, Bartosz, Silja or Silja, excuse me. And then, of course, you've got Regina Tiedemann, Alexander Tiedemann, or Boris. Now then, let's keep going a bit further up. Oh, look at this. Official confirmation. Tranta Nielsen, Claudia Tiedemann, Regina Tiedemann. There it is, folks. Officially confirmed. I mean, you know, they rarely really allude to this, don't they? Right? It's kind of hard to miss, really, you know, given all the setup. But now there's official confirmation. There it is. Claudia Tiedemann, Tranta Nielsen, Regina Tiedemann. Now then, let's go a bit. This should be the exciting bit. Go up top. There it is. Hana, Egon Tiedemann. Their child is Silja Tiedemann or Silja Tiedemann. And of course, Doris Tiedemann. And that should do it. There it is. There it is. Their child is Silja Tiedemann, who I believe to be the future girl, who goes on to have children with Bartosz. And she is Agnes and Hano Taba's mom. There it is. So the exciting bit about this is how they meet, right? Of course, it's going to take some time traveling shenanigans or escapades for them to come together, right? To meet. So yeah, 3 episodes to go. I'll get to find out how these two come together. Yeah. I think this basically confirms it, right? Again, given that emotional goodbye that they're having, they're hugging it out. Agnes and Silja. Listen, I know I might be butchering it. I'm doing my best, but they, you know, that's the one name I really haven't heard on screen just yet. You know, once I hear it on screen, then I'm good at kind of parodying it. But yeah, I think it's all right there. It's all right there. Silja, Tiedemann, Hano Tauba, Agnes, Bartosz, yeah. And of course, you know, I'm not really getting into the whole, you know, related aspect of it all because there's so much of it going on. But, you know, her and Bartosz are related. You know, well, yeah, they're Tiedemans, but, you know, if you go further back, yeah, they are related. But, you know, as of this point, the whole incest aspect of it or, you know, blood relation aspect of it, it's almost as if it's a given, right? Everyone is born from him, right? The not, the origin, the unknown. Right then, that was fantastic. One and done. Now, let's see. Let's try to match it, right? This time I'll go from here, right? Let's begin here. You've got Agnes Nielsen. Actually, before I go further, again, given the cold open of season 2, yeah, I don't think at all that Hano knew that he's just about to kill his own father. So that aspect is going to be interesting, right? You know, again, young Agnes, they did seem like orphans, and I mentioned that even back then, right? In season 2, early season 2, as Jonas travels back in time to Sigmundus, right? And I see a young Agnes. To me, it really did feel like orphans. So yeah. Yeah, let's get to this. Right then, let's do this one a bit more quickly. You've got Agnes, again, from The Unknown, and from that, you have Tranta Nielsen and Jana Nielsen, right? They give birth to Mads Ulrich. Actually, no, let me just stick to this first. So Agnes, right, her brother Hana Tauba, their father Bartosz Tiedemann, their mother Silja Tiedemann, checks out. It's the same as the other side. You've got Daniel, you've got Ines, checks out. Let's keep going to the top. You've got Alexander Tiedemann or Boris and Regina Tiedemann. They give you Bartosz. Again, Claudia Tiedemann, Tranta Nielsen, and then of course Doris and Egon Tiedemann. Now then, this should be interesting. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, it's there, set in stone. even on this side, it's meant to be Egon and Hannah Nielsen. That gives us Silja Tiedemann. But as of this point, she's pregnant, but not with Egon Tiedemann, but with Ulrich. Interesting. So this needs to go down. That's fact. Set in stone. That's fact. So it is going to go down then. So much like the other side, how she ends up traveling to the past, it's all right there. She is going to meet Egon Tiedemann, and they are going to have a child. So that needs to happen still. But the crazy thing is, like I said, she's pregnant at the moment. Interesting. But this also kind of confirms that she's not going to die, right? In this upcoming apocalypse. Because she does have to go meet Egon Tiedemann. So yeah, it's a mirror. Much like the other side, she is going to travel back in time. And if that happens, it's got to happen soon. Yeah. And then let's keep going below. Right. Yeah, they're connected. Well, there's that connection, right? Ulrich and Hannah. Interesting. Let's see how that plays out. That is a bit of a tricky situation at the moment, at least, given that she's about to have Ulrich's child. Then, of course, we've got Mads and Ulrich, Trante, Jana Nielsen. Let's keep going. Ulrich, Katarina, of course, Herman, Helene Albers. Ulrich and Katarina have Mikkel, Marta Nielsen, Magnus Nielsen. Right, let's keep moving. Hannah Nielsen, Sebastian Kruger, seen that. Let's go to this. Hannah Taba, Elizabeth Doppler, of course, and then you've got the whole Charlotte Doppler, Elizabeth Doppler thing that's going on. Peter Doppler, Franziska Doppler. Yeah, all checks out. Ulla Schmidt, Helga Doppler. So H.G. Tannhaus, Leopold Tannhaus, Gustav, Henrique, Bernd Doppler, Greta Doppler, Anatol. Yeah, it's all there. All checks out. Now, of course, the big reveal in the last episode, H.G. Tannhaus does have family, actual biological family, though. Charlotte is his daughter, of course. He raised her, right? Granddaughter. I mean, at least that's that was the cover for it, right? His granddaughter goes missing, and then there is this baby, right? That essentially does take that place, right? So in that sense, it doesn't really set off any red flags either from outsiders. But yeah, 3 episodes to go. Surely it's going to get into, I'm just kind of doing this because I'm imagining, his son and his son's wife and that accident on the bridge and the truck. So 3 episodes to go. Let's see how big of a role that plays in all of this, right? That's an unknown, folks. Just recently introduced as well. That's a big deal. That's a big deal to introduce something that late in a show this intricate, right? So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I think that's about it, folks. I think, though, the funny thing is, by the time I actually got to this, the show itself showed me this enough times, and it lingered on it enough times that I kind of saw this in the last episode as well, right? I mean, this is the thing I saw the first time, Bartosz being their father, and then the last episode, it lingered there long enough as Jonas was right there and dying. It lingered on it long enough that I clocked this, right? And if I was to look up, I probably would have seen that as well. But I was kind of, really focused on this part of it. Okay, so that's about it for this. Yeah, I thought that was fun. Oh, it's a stranger. Our tattoo didn't show up this time. Oh. We ran into the cellar. Or the basement. I guess, yeah, makes sense. Kind of.
Ein Weg, mich zu retten. Und dich.
Oh, man. Look at that shot.
Manche Dinge müssen wir gehen lassen, bevor sie zu uns zurückfinden.
Wow, that applies to pretty much everyone in this show. Wow, that's quite the moment. That is quite the moment. Oh, look at this. Much like Jonas' return in season 2, episode 6. That's the one. Yeah, that's an interesting point, isn't it? I'm going to pose a question later in the discussion.
Die Apokalypse nicht passiert.
He always needs it to happen as well, though,
Mein
right?
älteres Ich mich belogen hat.
It's a running theme. It's a running theme.
Der alte Tannhaus hat fest daran geglaubt, ein Paradies zu erschaffen, in dem wir frei sind von unserem Schicksal
Free from identity.
und frei sind von Schmerz.
Interesting concept given the established
Eine
concepts of
Welt außerhalb von deiner und meiner Welt.
a third. Here comes short hair. She couldn't stand to look at herself in the mirror there. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Yeah. That's the one I saw.
Hast du dir die Haare geschnitten?
Lauf so ein Schicksal.
Nein. Ich glaube, dass wir unser Leben selbst in die Hand nehmen. Dass wir entscheiden, welchen Weg wir gehen.
A little chat. Maybe to give her that push she needs.
Willst du noch wohin?
I made a promise.
Ich habe jemandem etwas versprochen.
Yeah, I was gonna say this might be a goodbye, right? She might not get to see her again. Speaking of someone, Claudia. There's that notebook. God particle. She's being guided from the other side. Oh, so someone's here. Before Claudia. Easy now. Don't fly too close to the sun. It's so enchanting. Wow. It was a bit dark, but I'm pretty sure that is Jonas! Stranger Jonas. And wow, so he's been here that whole time. Oh, there's that letter.
Die Weiche
The switch point
im Knotenpunkt der Zeitschleife.
at the junction of the loop of time. Oh,
Der Moment, der die Dinge in die eine oder in die andere Richtung laufen lässt. Pulsen in unsere Welt. Oder nicht. Zwei sich überlappende Realitäten. Auf einem der Wege stirbt er,
right.
auf dem anderen nicht.
Goes on to become the stranger in Adam.
Beides wiederholt sich in der Schleife. Wieder und wieder.
Yeah. So it's always
Das
been
eine
part of
der
the loop.
Auslöser für das andere. Quantenverschränkung.
Ah, quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. Yeah, that was clear. That was concise.
Ich habe gesehen, was daraus wird. In der Zukunft.
Right. Yeah, that's
Es gibt keinen
right.
Weg mehr zurück. Die Höhle ist eingestürzt. Wie hast du mich überhaupt gefunden?
Go on then, Claudia.
Woher wusstest du, dass ich hier bin?
She had a helping hand from your... I mean, not your son, but...
Die Substanz, die er
Der
benötigt.
Apparat. Du hast ihn noch.
The Stranger's theme kicking in. Oh, God. It's one of the best themes of the entire show. I'll never forget episode 2 of the series. Oh, that's busted.
Er ist kaputt.
Kaput.
Vielleicht musste erst alles so passieren.
That's the one he brings to
Wenn
Tannhaus,
sich
right?
ändert, beim nächsten Mal.
As a stranger.
Wir haben die Komponenten der Gleichung verändert. Vielleicht gelingt es beim nächsten Mal.
Ich habe keine Zeit, 33 Jahre
Next
zu warten.
time.
Soll ich mich wieder belügen, damit alles genauso passiert? Nur damit ich diesmal auf der anderen Seite der
Yeah,
Bunkertür stehe?
unfortunately, yeah, that's right. I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
Warum hat sie nichts gesagt? Dein älteres Ich.
This is an interesting position, right?
Sie wusste, dass Martha
Having
stirbt.
to answer for your older self.
Warum sollte ich dir vertrauen?
Die Materie im AKW. Ich weiß, was sie ist.
That she does.
Martha zu retten. Alle zu retten.
They do team up, right?
Du kannst gehen.
Oh, I feel bad for Helga, man. Let him go. Follow him. It's not a bad call. You're not gonna get much out of him in here, right?
Und dieser Jonas ist jetzt tot.
Oh God, Bartosz has had quite the day,
Und du
hasn't
hast
he?
ihn umgebracht. Also nicht du, sondern irgendein anderes Du.
I love that delivery though. His acting there. I'm dying to get to all the different Martas. I kind of want to list them out and their path, but the whole quantum entanglement is something really interesting there, right? Look at this. This is their dot particle, eh? They're about to be sent to a specific point in time. Oh. Interesting. So he's going to jump, but they're not? Yeah, this Marta is the one that saves Jonas, right? Then leaves him there, goes to 1888, escapes from there, and then now she's back here, right? I saw her a few episodes ago as well. You know? Yeah, she does. She does. Once you know for sure, she does kind of look like Hannah, doesn't she? But I did say she looked like young Hannah, right? Wow. Magnus and Franziska, man. Much like... Oh. Love it. Ah! Get to see that shot again.
Ich weiß nicht wie, aber der Junge im Bunker, das ist mein Bruder.
I've noticed the rings are a bit faded here in this world. They're really quite shiny in the original. Unless I'm just kind of seeing things. To me, it felt a bit more faded. Look at this. Whoa. So they used the Apple time traveling contraption then, right? Adam had it.
Wer seid ihr?
They took Martha's.
Kannst du dir das nicht denken?
Yeah, she can guess. Look at Bartosz.
Magnus?
Aber es gibt einen Weg, das alles zu ändern.
Aber du musst dich für unsere Welt entscheiden.
Ah.
Und ihm vertrauen. Jonas. Aber davor musst du Jonas vor der Apokalypse
There it
in
is. So
seiner
they
Welt
recruit
retten
her. And
und
they
ihn
give
in
her
deine
the...
Welt bringen.
Wenn du mit uns kommst,
There it is.
dann kannst du es verhindern.
Even that's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? That contraption specifically. Interesting that he sent her
Martha?
brother, right?
Was soll das alles hier?
I mean, it's
Martha?
smart. It is smart.
Sie werden ihn retten.
Are they, or is she just lying? Please save him. I don't want this Bartosz to die. So she's like,
Dieser Knoten hat uns allen das Leben geschenkt. Und wir sind
I see
seine
Claudia there.
in
Holy shit, is that
beiden
Egon? This is the one that goes out to become Ava,
sind
right?
das Schicksal. Wir errichten die Mauern dieses Labyrinths. Jeder
Wow.
von uns formt die Wege. Bartosz, du musst dich retten, um unser Leben zu bewahren. Claudia, du musst dein
Noah.
anderes Ich leiten, unsere Augen in Adams Welt zu
Guide yourself to be our eyes.
Egon, du musst deine Vergangenheit erschaffen, um den Stammbaum zu erhalten. Du musst die Liebe
Wow.
bringen,
The soldiers of time, or...
damit alles neu entsteht.
There's an interesting shot there of Middle Marta as Ava was speaking to Bartosz. Look at this. Wow. Light and shadow.
Magnus und Franziska.
They have roles
Charlotte
to
und
play.
Elisabeth. Celia und Agnes.
Celia!
Sie halten
There
den
it is.
Zyklus aufrecht. Damit du und ich hier sein können. Jetzt.
Celia and Agnes together.
Was soll das heißen?
This is the big moment.
Dass wir das Ende erreicht haben.
So you think?
Der Anfang ist das Ende
Yeah.
und das Ende ist der Anfang.
Hey, he looks handsome here.
Jede Verbindung in der einen Welt muss auch in der anderen Welt geschlossen werden. Alles ist miteinander verbunden.
Wow.
Im Licht und im Schatten.
Ha. Wow. Goosebumps. Go save yourself so you can save us, she said. I'm so happy to see Bartosz. Whoa. Yeah, it's coming together now. It's starting to look really familiar. Wow, it's heartbreaking though. It's heartbreaking. The keys. Ah, right, the accident, right. Wow. Wow, this editing, this presentation. Look at that. Wow. There it is. The accident that made it all happen. That created the material, right? That Claudia and Bernd Doppler discuss. No. Oh. Together. Wow. That is incredible. That is incredible. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That right there was one of the greatest, one of the most enchanting, mesmeric, gripping, riveting conclusions to any episode ever. Ever. That was incredible. That was phenomenal. That was an all-timer. That was an all-timer. That is just even thinking back to it right now, I'm just thinking, did that just go down? Did that just happen? Did I just watch that? That was immense. So gripping, so fulfilling, fruitful. In fact, that felt like a conclusion even, you know? It really did. And it kind of was, wasn't it? Because all the pieces are being moved into place once again, right? But this time on a larger scale. You know, I'm seeing the whole loop on both ends, essentially. Everything being put in place for this loop to begin again, right? Adam here thinks this is the end, but of course, this is something that was always meant to happen, right? From the looks of it. You know, before I go any further, let me put this out there. There is no chance in hell that these, next two episodes are the last of Dark on this channel. No, absolutely not. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. I am definitely going to do more content on this, right? Because it needs it. It demands it, right? There is so much to be explored. This is actually one of the rare series that actually does work as a rewatch series on a channel, right? I'll be honest, usually I think those kind of, that kind of approach, I feel like it's usually people milking something. Doing a rewatch of something, to me, that's always been kind of like this, okay, But for this is different. This is an outlier. This stands above everything, essentially, right? The nature of this, the structure of this, the masterful planning of this. It demands more content, and there is going to be more content. This, me putting this out there, it's kind of like, it's out there now. As of this point, I was kind of holding that in, but no, I'm definitely going to explore this on the channel for years to come, perhaps, right? Perhaps not instantly right after the next two episodes. Let's let this experience sit for a bit, but let's come back to it, right? 2023. At some point in 2023, I could totally see myself doing a rewatch series for this. I can actually even see myself doing essays, that approach, analysis, exploring the themes throughout this incredible show and this incredible story. So yeah, I could definitely see myself doing much more content. There's no chance I can just be done after these next 2 episodes. No, I'm just not ready for that. I'm just not. And I mentioned that it really felt like a conclusion, and it feels like it was. Narratively, it concluded that loop, right? Once again, all the pieces are in place for it to begin again. Wow. The editing, the song selection there. Wow, the juxtaposition, the use of split screen once again, right? It's not a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. It's actually so effective, and it actually feels so on brand for something like this, right? Beautifully executed. I'm really just floored. At moments I was just speechless, looking at my screen, just speechless. I mean, wow. I feel like I've said this a few times, but that is a contender for montage of the series right there, folks. And the crazy thing is, these last 2 episodes perhaps have the ability to floor me like never before, right? And that's saying something for this show. I mean, it is 2 episodes from being cemented as a modern masterpiece for me. It is 2 episodes from being my favorite show of all time. I mean, it's already essentially there, right? But these 2 last episodes, wow. I'm getting kind of emotional thinking about it, that it's about to end in 2 episodes' time. Yeah, time just kind of flew by, didn't it? I honestly do feel like I was sitting right here doing the intro for episode 1, season 1, episode 1. But here I am, 3rd last episode of the series. Yeah, time does fly. But right at the end there, it appears it is the end for Marta as well. So again, kind of like a mirror to our Jonas dying in the other world. Here, this Marta looks to be dead. That looked gruesome, that looked brutal. That was just kind of tough to watch, to see Marta go through that. And you see that Adam himself had a tough time. It was rough for him as well to see this, right? I see him shed a few tears. And those are not crocodile tears. Those are the real deal. For the first time, I really see him break down. Yeah, that was tough, man. That was tough to see Marta go through that. But of course, Adam believes this is it. This is the end. Complete annihilation, right? Eternal darkness. That is the way out, in his opinion, right? He maintains that is the end of this eternal suffering, right? Yet on the other end, you have Ava, who is dead set on opposing Adam, right? That's been the whole goal, essentially, to oppose Adam in his attempts at ending everything, right? Complete annihilation. No, she is pro-life. The side of light is certainly pro-life, right? Her goals are to make sure Adam doesn't do this, right? Her goals are to make sure her son, the unknown, the origin, does not die, that, he is born and is always born. She is pro-life, but, she is making the choice. She's okay with the idea or the notion of eternal suffering, the eternal cycle of life and death. She is not open to ending that, right? So she's all about pro-life. She wants life to continue, yet she is accepting that nature of it, right? The eternal cycle of suffering. I could totally see how a lot of people might be on Adam's side here, right? End it all once and for all. End the suffering, end the madness, and all of this, right? And all the pain. Listen, I'm not going to say I'm against Adam. Listen, as of this point, I'm not really for one side or the other. I'm really not. You can understand how each one of them got to that point. So let's focus on some of these pieces, right? The players, everything kind of put into motion, being put into place for the beginning of this loop once again. I kind of call them the soldiers of time, the lineup. Ava's lineup, wow, Egon, wow, Egon, Noah, Orhano, both, young and old, or medium, or mid. You've got Marta, the one that's got the scar, the one that's clearly going to go on to become Ava, right? Because I just saw the other Marta die, much like how our Jonas died. Yet there is Adam, right? Because I see that Jonas, the one who does go on to become Stranger, and then Adam, I see that he escapes by running to the basement. Now listen, the whole running into the basement thing, it caught me off guard. It really surprised me. Again, maybe that's on me as well, because I really expected something spectacular, I guess, but I don't think I'm in the wrong to kind of expect that either, right? In the end, it just ended up being as simple as running to the basement. I guess that was enough to dodge this apocalyptic thing that's going on outside. But yeah, I kind of see the trajectory from that point on. That Jonas, who is still our Jonas, right? Because there's that deviation because of quantum entanglement. How about that? Wow. So that's the big answer, right? That's how it was possible. I mean, listen, there's still a few unknowns about that. And I'm guessing I'm going to get more in the next 2 episodes, right? But at the most basic level, right, I felt it was clear, it was concise, it made sense, right? At this point in time, I'm not feeling like I'm lost, right? Her explaining that to Marta, it made sense. It made sense. Now, of course, some of these questions that still need answering in terms of how come that moment specifically, right? Now, surely they picked that moment, or Ava or her team managed to pick that moment specifically. So she mentioned a switch point, right? A junction in the time loop. Now, I think it's pretty clear that this switch point, this junction, is meant to be the apocalypse, right? And at that point, this was possible, right? Because they made it possible. Now, another thing, that I think might play a role in this, and I've mentioned it again recently, is the whole concept, or that radio broadcast about time standing still, right, for a split moment, or was it a nanosecond? It was one or the other, right? But I feel like that has a role to play here, surely, right? Like I mentioned, stopping the flow of time, even for a split moment, even for a nanosecond, that's essentially a break in the loop, right? So I'm not sure how exactly, but I'm sure that might play a part in all of this, right? In making it possible. So essentially, one Jonas does get saved, one doesn't get saved. One goes on to become the Stranger and then Adam, and one goes on to die. Though, of course, that Jonas, our Jonas, who just recently died, is brought there for a specific purpose. And he served that purpose, right? Conceiving the origin, the unknown, with that Marta, right? And he's always going to do that because he's always done it, and he is going to continue to do it. But there's still 2 episodes. So let's see, perhaps I could get something earth-shattering, right? Something so jaw-dropping that it might just, flip everything on its head. Let's see. I'm optimistic. I'm certainly optimistic. But yeah, going back to my initial point, that Jonas survives in the basement, comes out. He's been on his own for the last few months. Right now, Claudia kind of came across him because she had some help, some outside help, a guide, as Ava told her Claudia, be a guide to yourself, be our eyes, right? A bit of both. But yeah, she found him, and of course she doesn't tell Jonas. Yeah, but Jonas has been at it for a couple of months. He stepped through it before. Yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy how it all kind of pans out. But yeah, Claudia and Jonas together. Of course, it's a bit spiky. Loved how the Stranger's theme is now kicking in. But this notion of this actually feeling like the conclusion to it all. Yeah, you see a lot of these character arcs essentially are coming to an end. That they do reach their conclusion. Look at the Stranger, right? Who, it's heartbreaking, but yeah, he commits to his destiny, right? He accepts that he is Adam. He is going to become that individual that he was so trying not to become. He burns that letter, though, of course, middle Marta brings it back alongside the watch. Yeah, to me that was really sad. It really was sad to see the stranger give up on everything, right, and realize this is the only path. And you see that Sigmundus HQ, the machine around their God particle, it's coming together. It was really starting to look like a familiar sight, right? And for Adam, it's the end, or he believes it's the end. He firmly believed, much like how Old Tannhaus firmly believed in their different ideas of paradise, right? Old Tannhaus's idea of paradise is something else entirely. And then, of course, you have the Origin, who is in the 80s, right? Making it all happen in the first place, right? That accident that Bernd Doppler had to cover up, that Bernd Doppler and Claudia kind of, speak about and discuss, right? This could be the God particle, right? It is. So yeah, going back to a few episodes ago, my discussion about how he has been crucial. He's been in the background. He's always been there, right? They just show us in season 3, right? But he's always been there, right? He's been so crucial to everything. I mean, that is so crucial. Him making it happen in the first place. And they alluded to this, right? Earlier on in this season, as he brings all those things back to Ava at HQ. The thing I loved about this is the cyclical nature of the loop is on display. And it's harsh. It is harsh. And you see that once again, Adam is killing a Marta during the apocalypse, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. But the Marta that just died, presumably, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. She was also manipulated, just like Jonas, lied to, deceived. That's nothing new though, right? But that's just how things are. But there's another component to the whole Jonas gets saved or Jonas hides in the basement, because in that possibility, or in those possibilities, in one of them, this Marta, who is recruited by Adam, or Magnus through Adam's orders, right? And of course, it's a good choice to send Magnus out there, her brother, right? So they get the apple contraption, right? From Marta, and then give it to Magnus, and then Magnus gives it back to her, or Magnus gives it to her at some point to go save Jonas. And then she goes through her own thing, right? Saves Jonas, takes him back, disappears, gets to 1888, gives them the goo, the black goo, the God particle, gets out of there. Then she goes back to Adam. Then there's a few scenes, Adam kind of reveals to her that the Origin is already inside her. And then this episode, she kind of gets sacrificed. And to me, it kind of felt like it was referring to a film I couldn't quite put my finger on. It almost kind of felt like King Kong. To me, it did. There could be something else, but it's just not coming to mind. But, I was looking at that scene thinking, this feels so familiar to me. The presentation of this, her being in that dress, her nightgown. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you happen to remember, or if you happen to think of a reference for that. That's the story of this Marta, the one that goes to save our Jonas. But there's the other possibility. There is a possibility, right? And it is a possibility that happens. They both happen, right? So there is a Marta that doesn't go to save him, right? Something happens, and she doesn't end up going there. And for that reason, this Jonas hides in the basement, and then of course, stranger Adam. That is the Marta. I believe that is the Marta that goes on to become Ava. That is a Marta who has the scar, the fresh scar on her face at the moment. The one that is still kind of quite raw, quite emotional about everything that's going down. That she just killed Jonas. But yeah, that is a Marta that goes on to become Ava. She has a scar, right? It's there. So it'll be interesting to see how that Marta doesn't end up going over to the other side to save Jonas, right? That trajectory. So yeah, 2 episodes, I'm sure I'll get to see it. How it all plays out. But this whole concept of quantum entanglement and the many possibilities, or in this case, 2 possibilities, 2 realities, that are happening at the same time on top of each other. It's a slippery slope for sure. It is. But yeah, it feels like it's targeted at this specific moment in time to target a Jonas, to bring a Jonas back there for that specific case as well, right? So, Adam thinks he's about to kill the Origin once and for all, right? He thinks he's about to end everything once and for all. But on the other side, there is a Marta, right? The Marta that has the scar that also has the Origin, right? So at some point, that deviation happens for Marta as well, right? One goes on to save Jonas, and I see that. I see her get recruited. So, up until that deviation, that Marta had the exact same experience. She goes back to her home. Jonas goes back. They both have that intimate moment, right? They conceive the Origin, but then there's a deviation. One ends up on the path that leads to her death from the looks of it, and one goes on to become Ava. So that's exciting. That's exciting. Much like how I finally get to see how those two things played out for, the stranger Jonas and our Jonas, the deviation. Now it'll be exciting to see the other end of it, Marta's deviation, right? Yeah. And that scar, yeah, it looks quite fresh. So it'll be interesting to see how she got that. That looks quite recent. It does. And, to me, that scene of her sitting at the table in the middle, surrounded by the two different Martas, Ava and middle Marta, it almost kind of felt like, they're guards almost, right? Almost kind of like forcing her to write the letter. Yes, it didn't, they're not physically forcing her, but that's the feeling I was getting, that she kind of has to do this. She's been told to do this. And she just kind of has to accept it. Of course, the letter itself, it was a tactic. It was a tactic, because it's going into things like, once and for all, let's untie the knot. That is not at all the thing Ava wants. No, she wants to preserve the knot. And I think that's been pretty clear for a long time now. Maybe even since the first episode of the series, or second episode of the series, of season 3. But yeah, back in the future, in the post-apocalyptic future, now I should be getting young Claudia, young Jonas, and Noah or Hano Tauba, right? They mentioned that. And they even mentioned that they become good friends. Noah himself mentions that to the stranger. So I'm going to get to see that trio together. But then, of course, there's going to be friction. And, they've shown us already how it all kind of plays out. You see that at some point, all of them kind of separate, right? There's a lot of animosity towards Claudia. I still need to see Ellie Doppler and Noah or Hana Tauba and them having their daughter, Charlotte. Again, they kind of need to explain that photo that I've seen of them, right? That Polaroid and the really specific background in it. Also, Egon Tiedemann. Surprised. I was so surprised to see Egon Tiedemann pop up. That was the last person I was expecting to see, but it appears, unfortunately, it looks like she had a miscarriage, right? Hana, that is, I think, they made that pretty clear. And it's heartbreaking. It is. It's incredibly sad to see that sight. It was. But Egon Tiedemann showing up there, and, let's go back to my deep dive into the family tree earlier. Yeah, it's set in stone that indeed, even on this end, Hana does have a child with Egon Tiedemann, and that child is essentially the future girl, right? Who gets a few moments in this episode for sure. But yeah, his mission was to preserve the family tree, create the past. So, as of this point, my thought on the matter is that he's there to take Hana to the past, to his younger self, right? And there's even a moment as you see middle Hana Tauba, Noah, bring his younger self, or he brings Ellie Doppler to his younger self. So I feel like something similar is about to play out for Egon, older Egon, taking Hana potentially to the 50s, right? Because again, the family tree tells us as much, that she is going to have a child with Egon Tiedemann, and it's not going to be this. It's not going to be this Egon Tiedemann. I know that much. But I've got to say, Ellie Doppler just going with Noah to the bunker. I don't know. To me, that felt a bit jarring, to be honest. That she just goes along, that she just plays along. But yeah, that's been put into motion as well. Bring love, as Ava mentioned or stated, right? Bartosz, though, you know, I'm happy to see Bartosz playing a role once again, you know, close to the end of the show, because I was really incredibly sad to see how things turned out for older Bartosz and even younger Bartosz in, you know, season 1 and then leading into season 2 premiere. And then of course there's also that new possibility that came up, right? This new thread this late in the game, and I'm speaking of H.G. Tannhaus and his story about his son and his son's wife dying in that car accident, being pushed off a bridge or being forced off a bridge because of a truck, right? So there's that aspect of it. How does that play into all of this? You're not going to introduce that this late on for it not to have some kind of impact on all of this, right? It did feel like it was out of left field. But yeah, surely that is about to play some sort of part in all of this. You know, they brought up old Tannhaus once again and his ideas of paradise. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one, folks. You know, that ending is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece. That whole scene is phenomenal. It's an all-timer. The visual storytelling in that scene is just so meaningful, so impactful, so affecting, right? So deliberate. And again, you know, the sound mixing, the sound design, phenomenal. And it's been phenomenal since day one, right? It is just second to none, really, in so many different elements. Whew, okay, so if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you're interested in early access or perhaps even full length, consider checking out the Patreon page. Yeah, you know, the links are in the description, in the pinned comment. Also links for social media, Twitter, Instagram, if that's your thing. Right then, just the 2 episodes left, folks. Just the 2 episodes left. I feel like there's actually so much more that I might get out of this episode. You know, I'll probably check this episode out again before I check out episode 7. But yeah, that's about it for this one. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your time. This time is precious, and I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.